Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. Episode 84? Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Challenger X main battle tank. Alright, so what we have is a 90-ton tank that is an XL fusion engine on board. It's a 3.5 mover, comes with 10 free heat sinks because of the fusion reactor. Has a respectable 251 points of ferrofibrous armor. Yeah, that's going to put that thing in a hull down position. It's going to take a while because it has 57 points on the front slope, 50 on the sides, 37 on the rear, and 57 on the turret. Yep. You put that into a pillbox, it's going to take a while to even knock her down. Now, the interesting thing is that the design on this vehicle is like, hey, let's just throw the whole entire weapons array, including the kitchen sink, on board just to make it a tank. Well, it's like haphazardly in some ways, it seems to be. All right, let's just look at the weapon systems. We have in the turret a Gauss rifle, all right, with 2 tons of ammunition. That's respectable. That's plenty. And also in the turret on the other side, so you look at the vehicle and it's got 2 big guns sticking out. You'd think they'd be the same thing, kind of like a Zukov. No. This has an LBX-10 autocannon and 2 tons of ammunition in the body. All right. Then we have an LRM-10 in the turret with Artemis fire control system with a ton of ammunition. Okay. Then on the front slope, we have 2 medium pulse lasers. All right. And then on the right and left side, we have an SRM-2 streak system on one on both sides with sharing a single ton of ammunition. And then on the rear, we have a small pulse laser. And then in the turret on the top, we have an anti-missile system with a ton of ammunition. All right, so the problem I've always had is, like, after it seems like the 3050 book came out and 3055 is like, let's just make vehicles or mechs that seem to put every different kind of weapon system so they're not sharing anything. Nothing's the same. It's like, to me, it's a very bad design system. If you want 2 big guns, this vehicle easily could have 2 Gauss rifles or 2 LBX-10 cannons. So keep it so you can share the ammunition between systems. All right, it's a head scratcher, to say the least. Now, having the addition of the LRM-10 with Artemis, okay, that's fine. It gives it a 90-ton vehicle some indirect capability. Along with it would make a nice fire support or defensive vehicle. Being at 3.5 now in the city, it'd be great. You put a pair of LBX cannons on board. All right, it will get the job done. And personally, I think maybe the LBXs might be a better choice with it, and then maybe upgrade your LRM to a 15 or something of that nature, or drop something down and get rid of the pulse lasers. Well, there's an idea. Get rid of a couple pulse lasers and replace them with medium lasers. Downgrade your SRM-2 streaks to just standard SRM-2s and get rid of the, well, you might, it's hard to say. Either replace the small pulse laser with either a flamer. I like the flamers because, hey, you got the heat sinks to go with it, so I'd rather have a flamer that cooks infantry better. And you have the capability of starting a fire behind you. I like that idea. But it's one of those vehicles where I have a hard time wrapping my head around the whole design. To me, it's design flaws. Now, you have the ability to reach out and touch somebody at a long distance, you know, starting out at 22, 21, 18. Yeah, that's pretty respectable. And if it's sitting in a hull down position someplace, let's say you're in open terrain or versus city, city, you got a little bit of enclosed stuff. Even though I'm not a big fan of using pulse lasers per se, because you have to get really close with the darn things with the inner sphere one. Now, if there were clan versus inner sphere pulse lasers, yeah, I'd be all for that. But clans don't really like vehicles too much. Even though they have them, they don't use them. It's one of those vehicles you just want to look at and go, I want it to look good, work for you. With some design changes, it's possible. So basically how I looked at this vehicle and did exactly like I said. You have 2 Gauss rifles, an LRM-10, 2 medium lasers, 2 SRM-2s, and a flamer. And it works. Now you do have to take half a ton of armor off, and it drops it down to what, 242? Yeah, 242, yeah. So you drop it down to that. That's pretty respectable. It's 9 points of armor gone. Hey, I'm not complaining too much, and you still got a lot of armor on this thing. So that would be a better system. Or replace the Gauss rifle with another LBX cannon and upgrade your 2 streak 2s to maybe streak 4s on both sides. That's a possibility. Or upgrade your LRM-10 to an LRM-15. I'd be for that too. Increasing your indirect fire capability. A little bit more damage. So, which would make up for the difference of losing the Gauss rifle. Even though the Gauss rifle is nice for a 15 point smack into somebody's face, but there is that. But let's just take a quick gander here. There are a couple other different versions of this vehicle. Oh, I did forget to say, it comes in at just slightly over 1,700 battle value. So yeah, you are paying through the nose for this heavy tank or super heavy tank compared to your regular mech. Now you could probably bring a mech or two for the cost of this tank. All right, so there. Now, there is the Challenger 11 or XI version. Now this one has a C3 master on board for a C3 system. Has 2 Gauss rifles, right? So and 5 tons of ammunition. Not that it really needs 5 tons, but that is a lot. That will keep it in action for a good period of time. And it also carries an ER carries a ER medium laser as its secondary. So it puts everything into the master network and then your Gauss rifle. So you're losing some firepower up close, but you're getting the ability for those 2 long-range weapons to start punching holes where it kicks back at a long range and uses other vehicles as a spotters for you. It kind of works. Then we have the Challenger 12. This came out in 3064 during the FedCom Civil War. Retains the original Gauss rifle, but increases the ammunition to 3. The turret-mounted LRM is upgraded to an Artemis 15 version with 3 tons of ammo. Why would you need 3 tons? 2 is probably more than enough. Then it had the LBX-10s replaced by a Rack 2. Rotary autocannon 2. 2 tons of ammo to go with it. Front mounted lasers were replaced with 2 ER medium lasers. You got to save some tonnage someplace, give you some little range. The side mounted SRM-2 launchers were replaced with a single SRM-4 launcher in the turret with a single ton of ammo to feed it. This tank was equipped with Guardian ECM and a C3 Slave. All right, comes in around 1600 battle value. Or actually 18, almost 18 and a half. Sorry. Not bad. I like the idea of upgrading other systems on board, but I'm not a big fan of the rack system to begin with. Heck, my brain just says, why don't you just replace it with, say, large laser or something? You know, something like that. I don't know. Then we have the Mark 14 version. This one is environmental, underwater operation, special forces type environmental vehicle. Can you imagine a 90-ton tank going across the seabed on the bottom, gurgling away? The Gauss rifle, Artemis 4, and LRM launchers are replaced by ER large lasers and an MMF-7, and the forward-facing pulse lasers are replaced by SRM-4s and SR-2s, SRT-4s with heavy ferrofibrous armor. Comes in around 1500 battle value. I suppose for a one-off, maybe mission type game, using it to do some type of water operations. Hey, you can play James Bond type thing. Okay, then we have the Mark 15 version, experimental version. All right, this one, I believe this is the one with the it keeps the Gauss rifle of the original, replaces the LBX cannon, and then it has a single Thunderbolt 15 system. Side sponson turret on each side carries mag shots for anti-armor fire, and then it provides anti-missile system and armor of the original, replaced with 13.5 tons of heavy ferrofibrous armor and an light XL. Comes in around 1900 value. Kind of, the Thunderbolt system might be interesting to have, but it is what it is. Then we have the Mark 15. Well, the other one was the C version. This is the Mark 15 standard. This version of the Challenger uses all Gauss rifle weapons. Hey, the light XL engine has been replaced with a fuel cells engine to reduce cost. The Thunderbolt system has been removed. This leaves the Challenger 15 with a Gauss rifle, a silver bullet Gauss rifle in the turret, and a pair of mag shots on each sponson, and 15 tons of heavy ferrofibrous armor. Comes in at 17, a little over 17 battle value. So yeah, some of them are, it's like when you look at it, not necessarily something I'm going to go writing home about and have to just go out and get. My first initial experience with one of these things was that, yeah, it's kind of like trying to take a demolisher tank and then put XL on it and then make it a little heavier with a lot more weapon systems. There you go. So yeah, you might be able to do the same thing with a demolisher, with a pair of Gauss rifles and a light XL engine or an XL engine. Think about that one. That's an option too. Upgrading you might have a whole bunch of demolishers available and just say, hey, time to upgrade with some pretty cool weapon systems. But overall, the Challenger leaves me feeling lacking, as something's missing, and it's not something I really care to use that much. I've seen it in games before, and part of actually the Wobbs were using it. Different, the original version, but except it had a C3 system on board to work in with the rest of them. But overall, I'm not too impressed with the vehicle. It needs a redesign, personally, to make it feel like what I think it should have and make it a more simpler weapon system platform. You know, go that route. All right, so that's it. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrags out.